Hey everyone, hope you're doing well and welcome to The Loft. Today I wanted to take a little bit of time just to go over my portfolio as normal and see what's changed in regards to buy, sales, value and everything like that. Now, jumping into the actual portfolio, we can see I have had a value change from £2,995, which was a return of 13.8%, valued at around £363. All the way through the week it has increased to £3,062, with a return of 13.9%, valued at £374. So overall, I've seen a change in the portfolio by 0.1%, which is not great, but it's still better than it going down all the time and all the way to the bottom. If we compare this to the VOO, we can see that I have, as normal, been outstripped by the VOO, who has had an increase in share price by around 1.3%. So I've been outstripped, but to be fair, we partially expect that. One, this comparison method isn't necessarily the best for comparing my portfolio to the VOO, and also the VOO itself isn't necessarily the best gauge on a comparable basis to my portfolio, mainly because my portfolio is targeting dividend stocks, high dividend stocks and dividend growth stocks, whereas the VOO is targeting the general market and the S&P 500. So we do expect to see a slight bit of change compared to the VOO because they have more growth stocks in the ETF that I don't have in my portfolio. Now let's jump across and have a quick look at the recent purchases I've made within my ISA. For anyone who's watched my last monthly video, this is not going to be necessarily new to you as I did include it in there. However, to make up for that, I will be including some specific information around my portfolio that is only going to be in this video for the time being. So do remember to stick around as that will be at the end of the video. In regards to purchases, there has only been one purchase, which took place on the 30th of June. This was for 2 shares of British Tobacco for a total of £56.43, so around £28 per share. This brings my total amount of the company to 4 shares, which is doubling my position, and as such doubling the expected dividend that I will be getting from £1.08 up to £2.16. British American Tobacco, or British Tobacco, also have had increasing revenue and increasing dividends since 2018. Though prior to that, they were paying a higher dividend that was roughly double what they're paying now, and they did end up dropping it. Overall, this brings my estimated dividend returns for the year to around £126 from this point onwards. So for the next 12 months, I'm roughly estimated to get £126. And that is relatively close if we break it out by month to the £10 per month figure that I am aiming for, though some of these companies that are paying out do only pay out yearly, so there is going to be some slight difference in the monthly payers and the monthly breakdown, but it will be interesting to see what I get over the next couple of months. On the subject of dividends, let's jump over and see what dividends I did get paid over the last week, and we can see that this starts on the 28th with Royal Dutch Shell paying out a total of 12 pence for 1 share. Then on the 29th, we had the remaining companies that paid out dividends that week, with 2 companies paying out. The first one coming from Bank of America, paying a total of 33p for 3 shares. This was then followed by Kraft Heinz, who paid out a total of 61p for holding 2.5 shares. This does bring my weekly dividends to a total of £1.06, which is incredibly small compared to what we were hoping for and has affected our target for the month of June. If you have more interest on that, do check my monthly video if you haven't seen it. So overall, not particularly great, could have been getting a bit more, but let's jump over and have a look at what companies have moved the most in regards to value change over the last week. And we can see that the top 3 movers in the upwards direction are Apple with a total of 5% increase, Microsoft with a total of 4.7% increase, so essentially 5%, and also Cineworld, who are up 4.3%. If we flip this over and look at the biggest droppers over the last week, we get Walgreens Boots, who have dropped a massive 7.6% over the last week. This is then followed by Wells Fargo with a lower, more respectable 2.8% loss, and then Exxon, who have seen around 2.3% of a drop over the last week. Now, as I mentioned, I am going to be including some information here that isn't normally included in my weekly updates, mainly because the way that the monthly and the weekly updates came out, some of this information has already been made available for you. So I wanted to add a little bit extra just to keep adding value where I can. Now, let's forecast my dividends for the coming month. So going forward for July 2021, we have an estimated income of dividends around £12. Now, that isn't including the 30% withholding tax for any US companies. So if we add that in and take that away, should I say, we come to a total of around £10. So hopefully this month, or the month of July, we will actually get to the target of £10. So that is overly good. I'm hoping for a little bit more, mainly because the last couple of times I've forecasted, besides last month, which we will just ignore, I have generally got more dividends than was originally forecast. So I'm hoping for potentially more dividends than £10, but I'm expecting at the lower end between £9 to £10. So I'll be setting my target for £10 to £12 for the month. Moving over to some other stats that might be interesting, I thought I would let you know that I have a weighted dividend yield for the portfolio of 4.64%. So that's the same as the dividend yield for the company, except it's the dividend yield of my portfolio. And we also have a weighted portfolio beta, which is coming up at 1.09. So if you are interested in how to essentially work these out weighted for a portfolio, because unfortunately it's not as easy as just looking at the overall yield on cost and then adding them all together or working out an average. So if you're interested in how to work that out for your portfolio, let me know down in the comments below. So I hope that has interested you. Now we need to move on to saying goodbye. So if you're interested in any videos that can help you value a company, potentially come to a value for a company anyway, or how to review or analyze a company, I would suggest checking out this video or playlist here. And until next time, remember to invest, save, and subscribe.